All right, welcome back. And it's time for us to get into the nutrition segment. Of course, this segment is sponsored by Lily Rice. Lily Rice, tasty food. Happy family. Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Akosia Kunedu Yadom, who is a state-registered nutritionist, has joined us on the show this morning. We're going to be discussing mom and baby. Food for the first 1,000 days.
Nutrition for the first 1,000 days.
Yeah, yes. Absolutely. Well, Akosia, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. Yourself?
Good. I'm very well. It's good to have you here again. Yeah. No. So, take us into the conversations. I mean, of course, we were talking breastfeeding exclusively for the first few months. Just get us into what does the first 1,000 days look like? And
I also want to know why 1,000 days, because that's about 2 years, 8 months. So why are we looking at the first 1,000 days?
So I believe that every structure will do well due to the kind of foundation it has. You are seated here as Api, he's here as Kweku, and certain investments should have gone into you turning out to be who we see you to be. Yes. Before I could come sit here and be called a nutritionist, I should have done something to earn what I am calling myself, or how I am being addressed. So it is very important, and there are various research into it heavily stand by the World Health Organization. When it comes to health, nutrition, what have you, our look to is the World Health Organization. And so it is very important that the first 1,000 days of life, which happens to be the full 9 months plus the first 2 years of life, it is said that it is the most crucial moment in the life of every human being. And so it is very important that we have this conversation, because I want to even start off by hammering on preconception. In our part of the world, by the time a woman comes to the hospital, they are 4 months, 3 months, 5 months even into the pregnancy. And so we don't prep ourselves. But elsewhere, if Kweku and Api were a couple and they wanted to have kids in the next 1 year or 6 months, they will start prepping themselves. They should have met a nutritionist, spoken with their gynae, so that Api's body can be prepped. Kweku's body will need to also be prepped.
Even before conception.
Before conception happens. Because what happens is that most of the women, they come in, there are some hospitals, they say until you are 12 weeks into the pregnancy, they are not even going to let you start antenatal. But after 12 weeks, the spine of the baby is already formed. And so how do you prevent spina bifida? Which is a serious public health concern for a lot of pregnancies. So pregnancies, oh, mother delivered, I didn't see my baby, they said my baby is dead. Mama, if we had showed that baby to you, you wouldn't have even been comfortable to even conceive again. Because sometimes you chanced on how the outcome was, and you ask yourself, was this lying in somebody's tummy? It's because we don't prep ourselves. And so if your private hospital, your government hospital is saying that you are supposed to start A and C, a friend of mine, she started at 5 months. Who does that?
That's more than half of the pregnancy.
Who does that? That is what her doctor decided to go for. But after 12 weeks, if the spine has formed and every good thing has been taken from that spine, what do you think will become of that child? Low birth weight is going on, mothers deliver, they bleed to death. It's all because of a deficiency in something. So I decided to take it up from preconception, where for a man, if you want to improve on your fertility, you don't take zinc for granted. In COVID, it became a top thing, because it's also part of the 8 key nutrients for boosting on your immune system. But it works for a man as far as everything about your potency or your fertility health is concerned. For a woman, you can take iron and folates from women, but we give folic acid because how we handle our greens here ends up taking everything folates from it. For example, if you cook the average vegetable for more than 10 minutes, you are not eating vegetable.
You're just eating colorful stuff.
You are eating chaff. So you are getting no foliage from it. And it's because of those reasons. That's why sometimes we deliberately need to come in with folic acid.
Okay.
And also for the fact that pregnancies, like I said, the harm has already been done. But if you are somebody who prepped yourself, let's say 6 months before even conception happened, and you've taken folic acid up to 12 weeks, you can decide to even stop. But because we don't do it, sometimes we have to continue, and even after delivery, you do it 6 weeks after delivery.
Okay, so Akusia, let's start. So that means from what you're saying, you start counting the 1,000 days from preconception.
No, preconception is important so that it makes the 1,000 days kind of it's like the icing on the cake. Because if you've prepped yourself, then it's going to have an effect on the 1,000 days. But the full 1,000 days starts when today Appy is pregnant.
Okay. So from conception to the time your
conception,
child is
that is the whole 9 months until your child is 2 years old and is being weaned.
Wonderful. So let's start from preconception. We've spoken a little about how zinc is important for a man's potency, and for women, iron and folate is important. So let's just talk a little bit about preconception and then move on to conception and antenatal.
So for preconception, for a woman, me, yourself, we are not pregnant. The World Health specification for us is 60 milligrams of iron, and then 40 per day and 40 microgram of folic acid or folate. And so if you are eating a balanced meal, like we always sit here and talk about balanced diet, we speak about a 4-star diet. I always say that if you are a good student of this segment, by now you should know that you just need the license and the certificate. So if you are eating well, you should be able to take care of this. But wherever there are depletions and we need to help you, obviously that's why the specialists are there, so that we can beef things up. I tell people that I sit here talking to you about your blood. Me, my hemoglobin 13.8 and within normal, because for a woman it's 12 to 16 grams per deciliter. For a man, 14 to 18 grams per deciliter. So you need to be conscious about these things. You don't take things for granted. Now you see the professional, you are helped to prep your body so that at least after the 12 weeks you can go off. So that is for preconception. And for a man, even for COVID, it made it possible for zinc to be a thing that everybody was concerned about. So you are not just boosting on your immune system. Taking a lot of antioxidant rich foods will also help you as far as clearing your body of certain things you don't need. The idea is to make healthy babies. I always say
you should be seeing some healthy COVID babies.
Yes, it's not just to make babies, but sometimes some mothers bring or parents bring their babies to CWC and you go like, can I have this baby? It's like everything about this child is on point, and that is what nutrition can do for you. If you want to have a baby with this skin, you can have it. With this kind of bulky hair, you can have it. It is possible. Everything has to do with what you are putting in there. So that is for preconception. Quickly, I want to go to conception or antenatal. Now pregnancy has happened. So for a woman, you don't need up to that much of the iron. 27 at least is okay. So it also depends on whoever is taking care of you. But like I said, last 2 weeks and last 3 weeks, I spoke about the fact that some heavy brands don't even give you value for your money. So this is why we are here on Mondays, to give you these information so that somebody is not taking 250 cedis from you and giving you something that somebody is paying 2 cedis to have. So once you know the milligrams, you can also discuss with your caregiver to know how best to work around it. Because if you prep yourself, like I said, you wouldn't even need a lot of efforts to make you have a positive outcome as far as your pregnancy is concerned.
Because you've spoken a lot about iron for a woman who is pregnant. I remember when you're going to antenatal, they'll check your HB, which you spoke about. Now, if your HB is low, I think they say below 10. Is it
anything below? So in the hospital settings, they work with 11.5. By the WHO, will say 12 to 16 is ideal, but 11.5 is okay.
So that's when they'll start talking about blending a bedroll with yogurt and all those things. So let's talk about the nutrition to make sure that your iron, your HB levels are okay.
some of the things that people do, sometimes you hear it and you're like, did the health professional tell you to do that? Because how can you tell somebody to blend a beetroot? One lady said they said I should add malt. I was like, Jesus is Lord. How can you? Because that is carbonated and it's an inhibitor. So you meet people who have done this beetroot thing for 2 months, 3 months. If you have done it beyond 1 month and you are not getting results, you are doing it the wrong way. Okay. Because if you are doing it the right way, a week or two, we've spoken about this, and I think on YouTube it has the highest viewership. How to boost your blood levels with the beetroot. So there's a way to go about it. Go and look for that video. I'll talk about it here again.
On CCTube.
On CCTube, yes. How to quickly boost on your HP. The quickest way to boost on it, it's there. I remember that video.
So Akosia, sorry not to cut you, but we need to take a break and just take a message from our sponsors, Lily Rice. So we'll be right back and we'll continue this conversation. Welcome back. It's still Breakfast Daily right here on CCTV, and we're here on the nutrition segment, which of course is sponsored by Lily Rice. Tasty food, happy family. And do send your messages through. The WhatsApp number is
0550-585-832. We want to hear from you as well.
And use the hashtag Breakfast Daily on social media. Absolutely. So Akosia, we're speaking about the first 1,000 days of nutrition for mother and baby, and we said that 1,000 days starts from the day of conception up until the point where your child is 2 years old. You've gone through preconception. We're talking about conception and antenatal and the issues. Yes, funny stories. Drinking our bedroom with yogurt, our bedroom with malt, tin tomatoes with malt, and all sorts of interesting
Please don't do it. So there are some nutrients you need to be deliberate about. So for the first trimester, iron, folate. Second trimester, calcium comes in, but with calcium, if you have low HB, you should be helped. Because calcium can be an inhibitor and will be the reason for your low HB. So you don't just eat. So there should be some planning.
Too much calcium can also prevent you from taking up,
absorbing the iron. But there are some intervals to give yourself. We have nutrient interactions. When calcium and iron meet, calcium wants to be the boss.
You see why science and school is good. Reading is good. Or going to people like Akosia is good.
So you need to make sure you have that timing. And so for the second trimester and third trimester, calcium runs through, because once spinal cord has been formed and what have you, you need to make sure that the calcium stores of your child, the mother, because that thing is sitting on the pelvic bone. So it needs to be also enhanced on, and some other nutrients. Postnatal, after delivery, 30 minutes if it's spontaneous vaginal delivery or you pushed yourself, ask that I want to breastfeed my baby. Whoever is there, don't feel shy. Call them. If they shout at you, report them. To stimulate your breast for you. It's your job. I don't know why people treat patients like that. You stimulate, you have your breast stimulated for you and then expressed. So they kind of, you say you massage. We medically say express. So you squeeze it from the areola, that's the black part, to the nipple to open the ducts for initiation to happen. If it's CS, an hour, or if you're able to move your limbs, you request that you want to breastfeed. It helps, because if your child's blood sugar starts dropping, there will be fire on the mountain. And after 7 to 2 hours, a child cannot go without food. So you need to make sure it is done before. I tell people, before you leave the hospital, because if you tell me to carry you, I'll carry you at the hospital, but in your house, I won't carry you. So you have the help you need. Now, to EBF, or exclusive breastfeeding and maternal nutrition. I know mothers go like, if you go like, add an extra meal to your meals, hey, no, I'll put on weight. Don't worry. If you are breastfeeding at least 12 times a day, there are mothers who breastfeed and they sometimes come feeling dizzy, because it takes a toll on you as a mother. So you need to make sure you are nutritionally sound. So second trimester, third trimester, you add extra calories. They say 200 calories. It could stand for an egg and then 1 boiled corn. Making up for it.
So 1 boiled egg.
It can be an example, and then corn, 1 boiled corn.
That we will eat in
so the bro with
on the cob.
Yes, on the cob. So that can pass for it. Nutrition is very interesting.
It is.
So it can pass for that. So I tell mothers that when you want to chip in things, make sure it is something that will do good to your baby. So corn is very good. If it's yellow corn, excellent, blessed with natural iron to help you also with your blood health. And so that is what you do. So that is for maternal nutrition. Add an extra meal. second, third trimester, you add an extra meal.
When you deliver, talk about the yellow corn. So those of you who've been saying that yellow corn is just for chickens, eat it.
What?
Yes, that's what. Yes.
Wow.
That's the farmers.
It's for horses.
A lot of people don't want to buy the yellow
God
corn
has naturally fortified it. Me, if I'm going to buy kenke and there is yellow corn and it's even 3 cities, I'll buy that one.
Okay.
So please, hey, stop that.
Yellow corn is
corn is naturally fortified with iron. Very good. Please, if your babies are starting to eat, make sure, I tell mothers, instead of the white corn, use yellow corn, add some soya, get some granule paste on the side, shrimp powder, fish powder, and this is balanced diet for the child. Because you eat kotoje and goat, the child will take fish powder for the protein needs. So you just need, please ask a professional. This is the first time hearing this. And so for 6 months, that is first 6 months exclusive breastfeeding for the child. Everything the child needs sits in the breast milk. So please, breast milk, no funcio, there is water. Don't give the child water. After 6 months, you go in with complementary feeds. And then the weighing recordings, that is a CWC clinic. If your child is 3 months, the length will need to be checked. 6 months, length will need to be checked. MUAC check to let you know if undernutrition is happening. Because 2 years after the 1,000 days, if stunting has happened, you can't do anything about it. Your child is forever stunted.
Wow.
So the 1,000 days, that's why the World Health Organization says it's critical, because that's your foundation. If stunting can't be corrected after age 2, that is after 1,000 years, you are in trouble. So that is it. And then when you start complementary feeds, watch out for these 4 things.
Complementary feeds.
That is when after 6 months, when they start eating. Don't expose the child to sugar. So the cereal makes popular on our screens with sugar in there. When they get used to sugar, whatever you give them, they don't want to eat. When they get used to salt, there is fluid retention. For that child, you are exposing this child to this early, something that is for adults, this early stage. And so if they don't also taste salt, they don't want to eat. Pepper obviously is too hot for them. Even me, I can't tolerate it. And then spices, their digestive system is not so strong to handle some of these boiling cubes with the woman dancing and what have you on it. So you take it easy on that. And then we have weaning and family foods. Now, beyond the return, so beyond the 1,000 days, weaning will need to be done at a point. So that's where you are moving this child from the baby foods to zooming into the family foods, and you should make sure you are satisfying the 4-star diet protocol: staples, fruits and vegetables, animal meats or flesh and products, and then legumes, pulses, nuts and seeds.
Okay, fantastic. Because I'm sure people are very excited hearing all of this and want to get in touch with you. How do they reach you?
Okay, so on Instagram you can follow me or reach out at the Nutritionist Akosia, on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Nutritionist Akosia, and you can WhatsApp me. I'm tempted to stop this WhatsApp thing on 0243 350206 for the questions.
I know, I can imagine.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, we have more that's coming up in this show. We have a cooking segment and all that. Don't go anywhere. Let's take a